Today's demo is titled Drinks and Demos, and the topic today is SAP Business One Unlocked, presented by myself, Chris Meraki. I'm a Senior Account Executive with AttivoERP. By way of brief introduction of who we are, Tivo Group is headquartered in Atlanta with offices in Irvine and other parts of the US. And our mission is our commitment to helping small to mid-sized businesses to select, implement, and optimize the right ERP solutions. With over 3 decades of experience and expertise, we have a passion for making advanced technology more approachable, and we're here to make your ERP journey smoother and successful. We are also a licensed reseller of SAP Business One and have a team in place to assist with implementation services. Today's agenda is to provide an overview of core SAP Business One features. In just a minute, I'm going to be launching a recorded demo provided by our solutions architect, Antonio Muñoz. During this demo, Antonio is going to show you how intuitive the user experience and navigation for SAP Business One can be, seamless order to invoice workflow, mobile access anytime, anywhere, how automated approval and assignment workflows can be created, and then finally, fast actionable reporting and analytics. After this brief demo, which will take about 20 minutes or so, we'll then continue on with questions and answers from all of you. So with that, let's go ahead and launch the demo, if you'll bear with me just 1 minute.
Hello and welcome to another Attivo Group Drinks and Demos. My name is Antonio Muñoz, the Solutions Engineer with the Attivo Group, and today I'll be taking you through a tour of SAP Business One. Now, I know a lot of people can get alarmed when they see the letters SAP because they're so well known for their, very high-level, enterprise-level solutions, thinking that, oh, well, they aren't the size of a company like Boeing or Coca-Cola, so the solution just won't be for them. That may be the case for some of their products, but not Business One. Business One is a purpose-built solution for the small to mid-sized business market. It is a highly scalable, user-friendly product that satisfies the local hardware store just as easily as it satisfies the apparel distributor with multiple big box customers. From organizations with 5 users to hundreds, Business One accommodates, automates, and improves business processes for a market with niche needs without being cost prohibitive or taking years to implement. So, what will we be seeing today? We'll start off with cockpits and KPIs as well as some system navigation. Then we'll cover inventory control and master data. Then we'll take a quick spin through the sales process, and then we'll be discussing MRP, purchasing, and production. Lastly, we'll take a look at financial reporting and close up with some Q&A for you guys. All right, let's get to it. So, getting into the system, you'll see my cockpit here. Business One, or B1 as I'll refer to it, is a role-based solution. Cockpits are role-based dashboards that provide immediate access to the most relevant data and functions for the workday. For example, a sales rep is going to see open opportunities, pipeline status, and quota progress, whereas a warehouse manager might see open pick lists or delayed shipments or stock alerts. This focused view keeps each user productive and well-informed. Users will each have their own permissions and restrictions and their own workspaces. All the changes made here, each KPI I decide to add or tile I choose to include, that will be specific to my user. Each of these KPIs can be drilled into, and I can edit my workspace to add new tiles by hitting this Edit key, which will open this widget library. B1 is a live system with a regular refresh, so not only is all of this data current, but I can drill down all the way to the source document for whatever information I'm currently seeing, or which document is responsible for this out-of-place information that I see in one of my reports. We'll touch on that a little bit later. One of the more useful additions to the toolkit is the Common Functions tile. This allows me to drag menu items from the side here into this box. So if there are some particular tools or documents that I need to access on a regular basis, I can cut out the hassle of hunting through the menu each time it comes up. This is particularly beneficial to companies where some of the employees wear lots of hats because some of the stock stuff here might not fit all of their needs, or they might be processing, payments for one reason or another. So having those locked in here instead of going to the menu each time can be quite helpful. Speaking of that menu, over here on the left are our modules, what other softwares might call workspaces or nodes. Each of these menu items breaks down into their related functions, which you can select from. Or if I'm not sure where something lives in system, I can always just use the search bar. For managers, cockpits also mean accountability. Performance metrics can be reviewed at a glance, providing operational insight without the need for micromanagement or excessive meetings. So now that we know what we're looking at, let's get into some processes. Point of order here. Business One has a very, very strong ecosystem. The product has reached a level of maturity that has allowed a great many industry-specific add-ons and modules to be developed by ISVs for this product. Some of the most common ones we see here at the Attivo Group are things like EDI or e-commerce, specifically for the ease of sales order processing. While not every business requires these systems, there's a significant number that do or, at least want those functionalities. While I won't be demonstrating any of those solutions here today, I want to make clear that the vast majority of orders, purchase orders, production orders are not going to be filled out manually the way that I'm showing right now. In fact, you can look forward to some e-commerce optimized demos in the future. Today, though, I'll be showing you how the data moves through B1. Let's start off with inventory control and master data. So inventory management is the heartbeat of many, many businesses. With Business One, inventory is updated in real time, meaning that every stock move, whether that's a goods receipt or a delivery or a transfer, each is going to be tracked and reflected across the system. The item master in Business One is more than just a list of products. It's a control panel that provides everything from on-hand and committed quantities to item-specific planning parameters like reorder points, lead times, and preferred suppliers. You can manage inventory across multiple warehouses and even down to the bin location. This is crucial for businesses with regional fulfillment centers or high turnover product lines, anything from high volume sales, blanket agreements, and just general customer satisfaction all tend to lean on a business's ability to deliver the goods that they've promised on time. Business One also supports batch and serial number tracking. That means complete traceability from your purchase order all the way through to your customer invoice. Whether you need to perform a product recall or verify some product's warranty status or meet some kind of compliance requirement, this tracking provides the auditable trail that you'll need. A lot of businesses can struggle with inventory control, but B1 supplies a very easy and functional answer to those questions. Flipping over to the other side of our coin here, we've got our business partner master. This master contains vendors, customers, leads, and each with their contacts and account information on their profile here. You can even see their payment terms outlined on their record. Here, on the top right-hand corner, you can see all of their overall activity as well as their current account balance. With the ability to assign groups, you can configure different payment terms or overall preferences and settings to apply universally to those groups. So, while you might have a wide variety of vendors or customers, the information available is going to continue to be specific and granular without tedium needing to be a part of that equation. This customer, Maxitech, is going to be my example for running through the sales process. So let's get into that. Here in the actions menu, I could open up an opportunity or a quote. So if there were, some negotiation for a larger deal, or there were special discounts for a specific promotion, I could work an opportunity here using the native CRM. Instead, I'm going to go back to my dashboard and show you the sales workflow there. This layout gives a pretty good handle on how these documents are going to flow. And also these are selectable elements that allow you to pull up those records to generate new ones if you ever need to. So, as I said, I can just select the sales order, and by choosing Maxitech, I can automatically populate all of their details. In this case, they just need a few printers, so I can add those items here. And you'll also see that in this menu, I can see how many I have in stock, just keeping our salespeople updated. Next, I'll just select the delivery day to today for good measure. And from here, I can always select tax codes. If I have any freight charges or surcharges that I'm applying, those can get pulled in here. All those just key data points that we need to account for. Now that we have this order here complete, it needs to be shipped. So by saving it, it's made a permanent record, and that can get sent over to, say, a shipping manager. So let me swap to that hat. Let's say that I've been notified that this order is here, it's presented in front of me. I know that it's been placed. So from here, I can just copy the details from this sales order into my delivery. Using my action key, I can always bring up a packing slip. So during the pick and pack process, I can select not only what shipping container we're using and account for that cost, but I can also mark the box as packed after filling it, what products are where and which shipment, that sort of thing. The logistics tab, I'd be able to add a tracking number from whatever shipping software I'm using to get those labels. Or I could even choose from one of the many integrated solutions that would auto-complete that label. The shipment document is what actually decrements inventory. So I'll show that before we leave this document and save it. If I drill down into the item record here, you'll see that in this inventory section, it's all broken out along in stock, committed, ordered, and available. When I added this sales order to the system, even though the products hadn't been shipped or even really sold yet, those 5 units are logged as committed here in this 315 number. If I back out and then save this record, telling the system that, of course, the products have been boxed up and have been shipped, I can go back to that page and you'll see that both my in-stock and my committed quantities have been decremented by those 5 units. By making it so only specific documents can impact your inventory values, it separates the financial reality of payments being sent back and forth, orders being placed, to the physical reality of the goods entering and leaving my inventory, which greatly improves accuracy. Speaking of payments, let's invoice this order. I switch hats to the AR clerk, and I can see that this order has been shipped and needs to be invoiced. I can once again just copy all these details over and save my invoice. In the case of some higher volume or consumer goods distributors, I can also do this at the same speed from the same counter, and even trigger something like an email to the customer to let them know that it's been shipped. So we can ship and invoice at the same time. This helps a lot with smaller businesses that have, say, one person is handling both of those processes. Again, all those permissions are going to allow the system to fit your process and not force your process to fit the system. And then, of course, we can always print a copy of both the delivery document and the invoice and include those in the shipment if we'd like. This also logs this transaction here on my GL as revenue. And while most businesses would probably be running batch payments, processing more than one order at a time, here I can just go in here to the payment method and log in ACH for the cost of the printers right here from the invoice. To review this, we can always open up our relationship map and see the flow that this order took. This is our standard sales process, but as you can expect, there are many tools for things like prepayments, item returns, and drop shipping that we'd be happy to review at another time. So we have this clear flow through the process and the copyable but also batch processable documents that keep each of our team members and accounting informed as this information is passing through the system. But what about our back end, where we are actually getting our goods for sale? Well, I'd like to talk for a moment about Materials Requirements Planning, or MRP. Materials Requirements Planning is a back-end engine that allows us to take our demand, both real, like our logged sales orders, and forecasted, like our period or seasonality forecasts, and calculate the required purchasing and production that need to take place in order to supply that demand. When we start MRP, we're pulling demand from our sales orders, forecasts, and quotes, like I've said, which will all be determined as either included or excluded from the MRP system, depending on each use case. We'll also take a look at each item's minimum and maximum quantities and safety stock levels. Then, using our item master, it's going to run automatically an inventory check. If we have enough materials on hand to fulfill the demand we currently have, we'll move right on and just get to the production and fulfillment side. If not, the program will make suggestions of what needs to be bought, what needs to be made, and what needs to be bought so we can make what needs to be made, that sort of thing. Those suggestions will appear here in the MRP wizard, allowing me to review them. If they're good, I can choose to save them, and I've accepted them as good records that reflect my current needs, but they are not live in the system yet. To do that, I can jump right down here into my save suggestions, these save recommendations, and begin converting them into full records that will impact my operations. This stopgap allows for further review or the implementation of an approvals process, so there's no outsized orders or cash outflows without the approval of the right person at the right level of the chain. Now, let's add these documents and move into purchases and production. Purchase orders follow a very similar flow to our sales orders. By opening my purchase orders, I can see that the records I've just created are here, and I can make adjustments to the quantities or the items that I need. Then I just save the document, and from here I'd either, email or export this to my vendor, just get it over to them in some way. From here, I'm going to switch back to my warehouse manager since this purchase order has been placed. So when shipment arrives, I can open the same document and copy it right into a receipt. Here again, I can make adjustments in case I've been over or under shipped. In this case, I'm going to say that I got exactly what I asked for, so I can just save this receipt, which will update my inventory. This same document can also be copied into an invoice and paid from there. Again, separating the physical goods that are in my warehouse from the payments that accounting needs to take care of. For production, we can just head over to the production workspace. And again, I can generate orders manually here or based on MRP. By selecting the product, it will automatically pull the bill of materials detail, all of the component parts, the labor required, and once I move this to a released order, that's going to be live in system for my production team to take care of. Once the item has been fully produced, I can simply click here, report production, and the component parts and labor costs will immediately be decremented and hit my accounts, and now the finished product will be put into stock. An important note here, if this is an extremely large production order that we're producing multiple units of, instead of it being locked to just fully completed then hitting the document, if I reported completion of, say, 5 out of 10 units, those will decrement when that production is completed and reported completed. And the remaining 5 and this production order will continue to be live until all of that work is done. So that's how we get what we have to sale, and all of those processes are locked up and taken care of by the system in one single source of truth. But we need to know what that truth is. The decision makers need to understand what's actually happening, even though they're not the ones pulling the lever or filling out those sales orders. So let's talk about reporting and analytics. While other smaller scale accounting solutions can run a period end P&L just fine, what B1 delivers on is in-depth traceability and those automatic journal entries based on those processes we just went over, and all of that is going to fit along your chart of accounts configuration. In finance, you get real-time access to balance sheets, P&Ls, cash flow, the works. In this case, I'm going to run a P&L, and as you can see here in this box, I can determine the period down to the specific date. If I had an operational division or regional distinctions, or even both, I could configure a report to show a breakdown along each of those lines just as they are relevant to me. Actually, running the report, it looks simplistic now, but using the level selector here, I can get as broad or as detailed a view as I'd like. And this is where those automatic entries kind of marry with the report system. Each of these arrows is going to drill down into my database, which means that when I want to know what happened that caused this account to perform strangely, or why a particular balance seems off, or hey, what exactly were we selling to achieve these numbers, I can use these arrows to navigate all the way back to the original document and the entries that were created to yield that data. I can also use the changelog tool to see who made or changed the document as well. So if I'm doing a little bit of forensics, I'll know the who, what, and when of strange behavior, or at least who needs to be spoken to. Accounting and finance in Business One provides that single source of truth, which unifies operations and provides a secure platform from which to make decisions. With each transaction being recorded automatically, manual entry is really no longer a concern, freeing up time for other more important processes and decision making. The ease of reporting and the complete visibility therein means that there is no blind spots, and the configurability of these reports mean that whatever angle I need to look at my financials from, the system can accommodate that. The key here really is live data. You're never going to be working off a stale report. Every decision you make is based on up-to-the-minute information. Quick recap of what we've covered today. We looked at the cockpits and KPIs for real-time insight and user productivity. We touched on our master data for our inventory and business partner control, live updates, traceability, and automation along those lines. We touched on the order process, which, fully integrated and auditable. The MRP for proactive planning instead of reactive planning, and lean inventory management. Production to support, every manufacturing strategy that we can wrap our minds around, and reporting and analytics that empower data-driven decision making. SAP Business One is not just an ERP system, it's a platform to support your team, align your departments, and drive your business forward. Whether you're focused on scaling, improving your accuracy, getting your reports to give you better insights, B1 provides those tools to get you there.
Just in conclusion, we want to thank you for participating in today's drinks and demo. We certainly appreciate your participation and the questions that you asked. If you'd like to follow up with us, here's our contact information provided by phone or email. Let us know if you have questions or if you'd like to talk to a consultant a little bit more in depth about your solution or a situation that you're facing. We'd be happy to talk it over with you and provide you as much guidance and information to help you work with your clients.